Every year I go through my freezers and I try to pretty much use up whatever I have so that I can defrost them and clean them out come summer. Because when summer comes and I have all my garden products and all of my tree products coming in, there's just no way that I could fit them anywhere else. Now, I do quite a bit of canning, but I rely on my freezers for a lot of stuff. So I'm going to do a quick inventory. I'm probably going to be taking some of these items out so that I can see what I have, because over the next month and a half, I'm going to be shopping from my freezers. So let me show you. Now be prepared because this time of the year, it's a mess. I'm kind of a hoarder when it comes to food. I can't help it. I don't like to throw any of my garden products out. So let me show you what I have and how I do this every year. And remember, I didn't do this last summer. I was really busy with my problem with my knee replacement, recovering from that. So I didn't work on my freezers. But this year, we're going to get this done because summertime comes, I'm going to be ready. So this is the disaster area I was telling you about. So this is the problem that happens in this freezer, is that if I don't defrost it once or twice a year, I get this terrible buildup of ice on my freezer. So it's very easy to fix, but I have a lot of things in here that I really need to be able to move into one little freezer. So I've got some ideas, and this is what I'm thinking. So I remember those onions I got last week from that box. I chop them all up. I like to keep a lot of these things on hand because I use everything. And so I'm going to take a lot of these things out. I want to see what I have, because we're going to systematically go through this food and use it up over the next month and a half, almost 2 months. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of these things and find out what I have. And some of this, if it's a couple years old, I'm going to be getting rid of it. But the things that I can eat, I'm going to be eating. All right. So I've got all kinds of good stuff. I've got lots of vegetables. These were some sugar pie pumpkins that I froze from my garden last year. This is just an ice pack. I can take that out. So that was really a good use of time. I actually went through both freezers and I have about 15 different things that I can put together for the meat products. I've got tons of vegetables ranging from zucchini, carrots, baked potatoes, hash browns. I have all these things that I've kind of pre-made. I vacuum sealed all of them, so they're very fresh. Even though they've been in the freezer for a while, they're still going to be very good. And so what I'm going to be doing over the next month and a half, almost 2 months, until all my trees and vegetable gardens start producing, is that we're going to start going through that. Now, within the next couple weeks, I already am starting to get lettuce that I can harvest. So I will be fixing some different salads and things out of the garden, but it's going to be a little while before I'm actually seeing tomatoes and things like that. So that's my goal. In another month and a half, I'm going to be moving everything to one small freezer, and then I'm going to defrost those other 2 freezers. The one's a very small one, but the other one's my large stand-up freezer. And then I'm going to be ready to go for the next year. So I hope you'll join me on part 2. It's going to be about a month and a half away, but I'll show you how I've done and bring you up to date when that process starts. But in the meantime, we're going to really get into gear and start prepping for the new year. Well, for me, the new year starts in the summer because I saved my food for the next year. Another thing I thought you would enjoy today, along with, kind of prepping the freezer, is to get my basil and a couple of herbs put through the dehydrator and starting to replenish my homestead patch herbs. So let me show you how I do that. Now the basil I actually grow in my arrow garden here. And all I do is just take these stems off. It smells so good. And now that spring's here, I've actually got basil growing out in my garden, but this is an easy way to do it through, colder weather, is to use an arrow garden. I love my arrow garden. And just one little basil plant. Look at all the basil that I got from these. But all this basil is just from one plant. That is how I save money using my arrow garden. I've had this arrow garden now literally for I don't know, maybe 10 years. And I use it all winter long. I actually use it all summer too. It's just another great area to sit and use to put your things together. Oh, that smells so good. Let's go get some other things to put in our herbs so that we can get everything set up for our summer herb homestead patch herbs. So these are my herbs. Even though I don't put it in with my mix, I am going to pick some mint because I want to dehydrate some for some mint tea. And today I'm just going to be picking some oregano and also some thyme. That's all I'm going to get today. And I just want to show you this gorgeous rose that I have in my garden. Isn't that beautiful? So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to fill up a sink with some nice cold water. And I want to get all these herbs cleaned. Even the ones I grew in my arrow garden. People might tell you they just dehydrate their herbs without washing them, but there's tons of bugs and bacteria and all kinds of things. So I don't do that. I know people do, it's fine, but I like to have my herbs and not bugs. So you saw how clean my herbs looked, right? This is why you wash your herbs. So I'm going to give my herbs another good wash, but I just wanted to show you how important it is that you get things out of the garden and you wash them. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of hidden in and amongst things that you can't always see. And just because other people do it and they say, oh, it's fine, there's nothing on it, trust me, I've been gardening for most of my life, and you always want to wash anything you're going to be eating, because there's some kind of an animal out there that enjoys what you plant. Now you might be saying to yourself that, hey, that's great, you have all this room to have all this kind of stuff, and I don't have any of that room. Well, I'll tell you what, there's ways you can work around it. If you really want to have an herb garden, most herbs can be grown in pots. They can be grown in small containers. You can have an arrow garden like the one that I have. Like I said, I've had that for a long time, and for me, it's just kind of a supplement for when I, really don't want to have to worry about gardening out in the yard. But it does a fantastic job. And so, like I said, I use it all summer as well, usually. I mean, there's so many things I can grow, even when it gets too hot. A lot of times I'll grow the things that I know it's too hot to grow and I don't want them to bolt and all that kind of stuff. So that's how I do it. I think it's really important that we grow our own food as much as possible, even if it's things like herbs and things like that. All these things save me so much money. It's really amazing. I'm going to do my my mint separately. I may actually do the mint in the oven, but I want to do all the other things in my dehydrator here. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do the mint separately. That'll give me a little bit of extra room to do some of these other things. So I think I'll do the basil on a couple of these. And this is the oregano. That thyme actually gets all over everything. It just kind of falls apart when you wash it, and it just gets all over all the leaves. But it doesn't matter because I mix them all up when I'm making my blend together. We're going to set our temperature in our oven for 180 degrees, and we're going to let these just cook down till they're dry. It's going to be a couple of hours, but we'll just keep checking on them and make sure they're drying out like they're supposed to. So as you can see, these are some homestead patch herbs that I made. They're just herbs out of my herb garden. And when they're all done dehydrating, they're going to look something like this. And they're going to be wonderful to season your food with. Now I usually put in some dehydrated garlic. I'll do that after I get all of my herbs put together, but you can see I've only got a little tiny bit left, but as soon as I'm done doing this, it'll almost fill the container, a little bit over halfway. And it'll be enough to get me through till probably next Christmas. So this is something really economical. I use it to cook a lot with, and I just love having my own seasonings on hand. So thanks for watching today. If you enjoyed this video, can you consider subscribing, or better yet, become a member? I have a button down below. You can just click on the link. I've got 3 different categories. You can sign up as a member. I'd love to have you as part of my team. So thanks again, and give me a like, a thumbs up, or ring the bell for future notifications, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.